Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and talk about things that are going on, a bit explain what's going on, and talk about things that I think that are being done right and or done wrong. So this video does not follow the typical format of a critical incident briefing. The agency, which is the Will County Sheriff's Office, they did not appear to make a quality press release for this. So there's no spokesperson explaining details or anything like that. It's just raw body cam footage. This incident occurred a year ago in Joliet, Illinois. And this article that I'm about to read comes from CBS Chicago, dated November 28, 2022. The Will County Sheriff's Office released body camera video Monday showing the moments deputies shot and killed a grandfather and his grandson inside their Joliet Township home last year. This comes after months of CBS 2's reporting about a lack of transparency with how the Sheriff's Office communicated what happened to the public and the refusal to initially release the video or any police reports. On November 6, 2021, deputies responded to a call about an argument between 70-year-old Elred Wells Sr. and his 21-year-old grandson, Jabbar Muhammad. I think it's pronounced Jabbar. It's spelled Jabbar. I don't know if it's Jabbar or Jabber or what, but I'm going to say Jabbar. The caller, a relative, said Muhammad had a knife and was arguing with Wells. According to records obtained by CBS 2 and interviews with family members, it appeared Muhammad was in the midst of a mental health crisis when deputies arrived that day. This was the second time in 10 days deputies were called to the home. Records show they responded to a suicide attempt by Muhammad on October 27. He was admitted to the hospital and treated. He was released on November 6, 2021, just a few hours before the fatal incident. Police said they attempted to de-escalate the situation, but when Muhammad stabbed Wells in the neck, police fired shots several times in defense of Eldred's life. A statement from the task force investigating the incident. That task force is the, I believe they called it the Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force. But the statement left out a key detail. Deputies shot and killed Wells as well. CBS 2 was the first to uncover this fact in April of this year. An autopsy report shows Wells died of multiple gunshot wounds. This 70-year-old black male, Elred J. Wells, died of multiple gunshot wounds. Multiple stab and incised wounds were significant contributing factors to his death, the Will County Coroner's Office wrote in its opinion on March 1. CBS 2 made a decision not to show the full videos released by the Sheriff's Office Monday due to their graphic and sensitive nature. In the video clip above, we show you some of the moments, blah, blah, blah. And it goes into talking about what you're about to see in the video. Family members of Wells and Muhammad sued the Sheriff's Office in October, accusing deputies of failing to separate the two before firing shots. The lawsuit also accuses the deputies of yelling at the scene and agitating Muhammad before he lunged at Wells with the knife. While the video was officially released Monday, CBS 2 obtained the clips prior to that release. Blah, blah, blah. Initially, the task force said, and the Sheriff's Office said they would not release the video until all investigations into the shooting were complete. Family members criticized that choice and accused officials of withholding information. I just want to know what happened. Why, said Rhonda Wells, the mother of Muhammad and the daughter of Elred Wells in a previous interview. Don't leave us just with our thoughts. Just let us know. We have nothing. We just want to know the facts. After CBS 2 first reported about the shooting in April, Will County officials privately showed family members the video but did not release it publicly until Monday. Deputy Chief Dan Jungles said the internal affairs investigation was complete and there were no findings of wrongdoing by the officers as of Monday afternoon. The deputies were also cleared of any criminal charges after investigation by the Will County State's Attorney's Office. In April, the Sheriff's Office told CBS 2 it did not have a policy outlining how to respond to someone in a mental health crisis. On Monday, Jungles provided a mental health response policy instituted in September of this year. He said the process for getting that policy approved began in June of 2020, before the shooting. You can read that new policy below. The Will County Sheriff's Office released the following statement Monday night. On 11/6/2021, at approximately 4 p.m., members of the Will County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to 300 Middle Tree Road in Joliet Township for a domestic disturbance involving a grandfather and grandson, whereas the grandson was armed with a knife. Upon deputies arriving on scene, they observed Jabbar Muhammad holding a knife in threatening manner near his grandfather. The deputies ordered Jabbar numerous times to put the knife down, which he refused to do. As the grandfather, Elred Wells, got closer to Jabbar Muhammad, deputies began to fear for Eldred's safety. It initially appeared to responding deputies that Jabbar was complying with deputies' commands as he began to crouch down with his hands up as if he was going to place the knife on the ground. Without warning, Jabbar lunged at his grandfather with the knife, stabbing Elred in the neck several times. Deputies fired their service weapons at Jabbar Muhammad in defense of Eldred's life. Jabbar Muhammad was shot several times by responding deputies. Both Jabbar and Elred fell to the floor upon Jabbar being shot. After being shot numerous times, Jabbar continued to stab his grandfather as the two were laying on the floor. The deputies again fired their service weapons multiple times in an attempt to stop Jabbar Muhammad's deadly actions. Deputies performed life-saving measures on both Jabbar and Elred Wells. Elred Wells was transported to the local area hospital, where he was later pronounced deceased. Jabbar Muhammad died on scene as a result of his injuries. The Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force were summoned to the scene to investigate this incident under provisions set forth by the Police and Community Relations Improvement Act in regards to an officer-involved shooting incident. At the time of the incident, it was unknown by Will County Sheriff's Office personnel if Elred Wells was struck by gunfire as a result of the deputies firing their service weapons. During the investigation, the Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force advised the Will County Sheriff's Office that Elred Wells was struck by gunfire. In addition, the Will County Sheriff's Office learned the official cause of death of Elred Wells upon completion of the Will County Coroner's Report. Upon completion of the Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force investigation, the case was handed over to the Will County State's Attorney's Office for review on 12/14/2021. On 7/21/2022, the Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force, along with the Will County Sheriff's Office, was advised that no charges would be filed against the officers involved in this deadly use of force by the Will County State's Attorney's Office. Upon completion of the criminal investigation, the Will County Sheriff's Office was tendered the report done by Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force in order to complete the internal affairs investigation for potential policy violations committed by the officers involved. That investigation was completed on 11/15/2022. That investigation concluded that the officers that used deadly force in this encounter were justified in their actions, and there were no policy violations associated with the actions of those officers. The Will County Sheriff's Office would like to extend our sincere condolences to the family members of the Wells and the Muhammad families affected by this incident, as well as our gratitude to the deputies of the Will County Sheriff's Office that responded to this incident. Those officers and their families also have to deal with the uncertainty and raw emotions associated with violent incidents such as this. Phew, that was a lot. Okay, so here we go.
67 and 30 for 43, clear for came into the bedroom with the 17 unknown where the offender went.
All right, so we see him reach up and hit the record button on his camera. I don't see it very often, but these cameras that go in buffer mode can include audio in the buffer itself. A lot of places typically do not do that. They just have the buffer set up to where it has images only, no audio. So either that's going on, or he already hit record on it and forgot that he did, and then just reached up out of habit to do it. I do like how before he gets out of the vehicle, he hits record on the camera. I think that should always be done. And in fact, before you ever throw the car in park, you pull right up on scene. Before you even get directly on scene, I think you should activate the camera. Because sometimes when you pull up, boom, shit pops off. But I think it's crucial to hit record before you ever get out of the vehicle. That way, if something happens and your mind is focused on other shit and you forget to hit the camera, then, oh well, it's already recording. So you don't have to worry about not missing stuff. If you don't turn that camera on before you get out of the car, it's in buffering mode, you get involved in something, your mind's racing, you're fighting, you're thinking about other stuff, you could miss out that window of things being caught on buffer and never have the ability to capture critical video footage that could help exonerate you, could help end your legal fight a lot sooner. So I'm a big fan of always turning that camera on before you get out of the car. If that means that you end up capturing a bunch of footage of bullshit, then so be it. You just capture a bunch of footage of bullshit. I'd rather people capture a bunch of bullshit on camera than to miss something critical that could help exonerate them. That's a good song. You know, the last couple videos, man, there's been some good music in the background. Alright, so they are responding to a call with a person armed with a knife. That, in and of itself, in my opinion, means that they should have long guns out. Anytime going to a call where there's going to be the potential for deadly physical force to be used, you should have a rifle or a shotgun, preferably a rifle. Long guns are better than pistols. They are more accurate and they have better incapacitating power. A rifle is more accurate because it has a longer barrel and there are more points of contact on it to further stabilize it and reduce the most amount of movement possible in the overall system, thus making it more accurate. The incapacitating power is just phenomenal. It takes fewer rounds of rifle cartridge than it does pistol into center mass to cause rapid physical incapacitation of a threat. The kinetic energy that they just dump into the target is just devastating. A pistol, it has a very short barrel and only 2 points of contact on there, your two hands. And even when you got two hands on the gun, you can still interject enough movement into that gun just by merely pulling the damn trigger, and that can move the gun to either left or right depending on which dominant hand you're firing from. That littlest amount of movement equals a varying degree of inches to feet of being off target. It will throw your shot placement off. The closer you are, the less noticeable it is. But as you add increments of distance, it becomes noticeable. And even in a distance of 21 feet, you can completely miss a target. 21 feet is not that far away. Not that far away. But you can completely miss. Hell, fucking 10 feet. A typical living room is like 10 feet or so on one of the walls. So you could literally be standing in your own living room your back to one wall, target on the other, and you could miss that fucking target just 10 feet away with a pistol. So, they should have had the rifles out going to this call. Unfortunately, that's one of my biggest gripes when it comes to these videos, because all across this nation, law enforcement just isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing with rifles, in my opinion. There's some out there that are doing stuff that they need to be doing with rifles. They're doing it the right way, but overall, I'm just not seeing the utilization of rifles like there should be. And I believe that is a lack of proper training and a lack of good instructors to help instill a fighting mindset. Also, coupled with the fact that hiring practices and stuff like that, I think there's just some officers being hired that just don't really have a good fighting mindset to begin with. So, multitude of factors going in there, why we don't see rifles being used when they should. But it needs to change. We need to see a paradigm shift and rifles getting used more often. All right, moving on.
Holding there? Yeah.
So I didn't see any communication between these two. I think it would have been good before they ever step in the house to have a brief talk. Say, hey, I'm going to be primary with lethal force. You can be backup with less lethal force. That way, going into it, they know who is going to be doing what. Which one's going to do whatever.
Sheriff's Department!
And that looks like a rifle mag on his belt.
Sheriff's
No, that's just a pouch.
Department! Stop right there, please! What's going on? What's going on, man? Put the knife down. Put the knife down. Stop right there, please! No, listen to me, please! Put the knife.
More good music. It's corn playing in the background back there.
Please, stop right there. Stop right there. No, please. Put the knife down. I'm not putting this knife down. All I'm going to do. Put the knife down. My mother. Put the knife down now.
All right, so the guy's got a knife. He's got it out in his hand, pointed toward his grandfather. Why is he here with his grandfather to begin with? The guy's 21 years old. He could be out on his own somewhere. Why is he in the grandparents' house? I don't know this for sure, but I suspect that he's probably living there. Sadly, in our country, a lot of our younger folks just don't have their shit together, and they have to rely upon, grandpa, grandma, or mom and dad. I don't know. It's a sad state of affairs, I guess you could say. Let me back this up from the beginning, at least when they come in the door.
Stop right there, please. What's going on? What's going on, man? Put the knife down. Stop right there, please. No, listen to me, please. Please. Stop right there. Stop right there. No, please. Put the knife down. I'm not putting this knife down now. All I'm going to do. Put the knife down. My mother. Put the knife down now.
So they did not have guns out. They were not yelling very loud until he made a movement towards the grandfather. So I think these officers were making an attempt to de-escalate the situation. They actually obeyed this guy when he said, stop, don't come any closer. They stopped. They weren't coming any closer to him. They weren't pointing guns at him or nothing. The minute the grandfather stepped away and he started to close the distance with that knife, well, of course the officers have to act at that point. So this idea that this family saying the police did not properly try to de-escalate, I think is bullshit, because they were trying to de-escalate in the beginning. His actions caused them to react. You can't just assume that just because he's stepping forward very suddenly that he's not going to do anything. You have to assume that he's capable of doing something, that he is going to do something. Otherwise, he could just stab the guy. So I'll back this up a few seconds and then hit play again.
Put the knife down. My mother! Step, put the knife down now! Put the knife down! Put it down now! Stop! Put it down! 67 shots fired by, please. We need 52 now. Stop! 67, we need more. Stop! Get him up!
Alright, let's back this up.
My mother! Step, put the knife down now! Put it down!
So he acts like he's complying at this point. This officer stepping forward, closing the distance. This officer right here, who's right behind him, you can see the end of the taser. You can see the laser dot pointing on the ground. And then, of course, this officer right here with their camera. Personally, the officer with the taser should have had taser pointed right at this guy. There's no reason for it to be pointing at the ground. It needs to be pointed at the threat. So this is super close. You can see the red dot on him right there. You can see taser wires come out.
Down now! Down now! The knife down now!
They were they're so close, so entangled right there. The first rounds being fired, I have no idea if one round hit this guy when he moved so quickly.
Knife down now! The knife down now!
I mean, it's possible that when he fired, he did put one into him. Maybe, I don't know. It's possible that the grandfather was shot at this point. I don't know for sure. But it's also possible that he could have been shot while he was on the ground. You can see the grandfather arms, or his arm is up. He's moving. Then you see this grandson start stabbing him in the neck. Even while being shot, the first couple rounds going into him, he's still stabbing his grandfather.
Put it down! 67 shots! Stop!
That sucks. What if they had a rifle? What if they all had rifles? Could that have made a difference? Possibly. I'm not going to say 100% that it is, because even if one of them, two of them fired as he lunged at him and got so close to him, even there's still a possibility with rifle that they could have missed and hit him as well. But once they went to the ground, I firmly believe that it would have been super plausible, super easy for, if he had a rifle, to come up here, close that distance, and put that muzzle right fucking on him. Hell, muzzle thump the motherfucker even. Like, go in there, jab him right in the fucking face with that muzzle, and pop. That would have stopped it right fucking then and there. And grandfather could have survived this. It could be that when the pistols were firing here, he was hit here. I don't know. I don't know at what exact point he was shot. But had one officer with the rifle made that approach, and as soon as he start fucking slashing, thump him in the face with the muzzle and press trigger. Fight would have been over with right fucking then and there. I don't know who that is screaming in the background. I don't know if that's that grandma or if that's the mom of the son. I don't know, but either way, they're obviously family, and they've now lost 2 family members. Probably the worst day of their life. You know, they could have, you know, if this dude was suicidal, you know, they could have had in the back of their mind that, you know, Jabbar was going to kill himself one day. And although that's still going to be hard to deal with, it's something they could have expected, right? The grandfather, although he's 70, hell, that he could have lived to be 90. I mean, hell, the dude's out moving around, doing good for 70, right? There might not have been any exact expectations or inklings that, you know, he was going to pass away soon. You know, their family bloodline, they could have people who routinely just live into their 90s. So he could have still been as healthy as a horse, and not something they would have been expecting to be happening for him to pass so soon. It sucks. It really does. I feel for that person because they've now lost 2 family members, one of which was probably a pretty good guy. Yeah, it's fucking horrible.
Hey, you got him, I got him. Give him that. Take a 1 mil shot, 1 stab, 1 stab. 1 mil shot, 1 stab. I got covered. Where's your knife? Where's him? I don't know. It's over here somewhere. Okay, I got a knife. Nice, I got him, got him. Sir! Sir! What's your name? What's your name?
So personally, at this point, I would have directed all of my life-saving resources and attempts to the true victim in this case, the grandfather. Suspect would have been cuffed up and just allowed to lay there until more resources could arrive on scene. Everything as far as resources and efforts I would have put towards the true victim. He would have, all the medical equipment I had would have went to him. Bad guy who wanted to fucking stab, the son of a bitch who wanted to stab his own grandfather in the neck. Like, how fucked up is that? Like, how fucked up of a person are you to want to kill your grandfather? As far as I'm concerned, they can let the grandson lay there and bleed out. All resources need to be directed to the grandfather.
Right over here. He's got multiple gunshots.
Yeah, no shit.
Officer, help me out here. Hey, trying to find. Looks like he's got. Sir!
You guys have gloves or no?
I got gloves. He's got gloves.
Alright, so gloves. You should always be carrying gloves on you. There's really no reason why you shouldn't have gloves on you. It really bewilders me in a way that there's videos out here of these officers who going about their days without even having gloves on them. And it really makes me kind of want to ask, like, where the fuck have you been? Like, do you not do anything while you're at work? Like, how have you not come across people who are covered in bodily fluids, whether it be blood, piss, shit, vomit, cum, whatever? Like, you've had to have come across people like that before, more than once. You've had to have handled evidence more than once. Those alone should be a no-brainer for you to be carrying gloves on you. It's like, where the fuck's this guy been? Was he fucking brand new? Is he a rookie? Like, it is not hard to carry gloves on you. They weigh next to nothing. And they're not really intrusive. You could put 3 fucking pairs of gloves in your pocket and you're not going to notice it. It's not going to be poking into you, feeling uncomfortable or nothing. No excuse. No excuse whatsoever not to be carrying gloves. You should always be carrying gloves. It's fucking... I don't know, like, sometimes it's the tiniest little stuff that, like, it really annoys the piss out of me. And the glove thing is one of them.
Hey, we're gonna shot this heat. Like 3, 4 on this middle right here. 1 on this middle right here. CPR. Hey. Hey, who else got a go bag? Anybody else got a go bag? In my car. You need some plugs to plug it. You want to plug it in? I just got a plug. That's it.
So I just noticed this by random.
In my car. You need some plugs to plug.
So Gildan is a clothing company. They make like t-shirts and stuff. And this looks like maybe like a heat press kind of deal. So it makes me wonder if grandpa or maybe even the grandson or maybe even grandma, someone in the household, makes me wonder if one of them kind of runs like a little t-shirt business thing on the side.
You want to plug it in? I just got a plug. That's it. Stay with me. Come on. Stay with me.
Sorry, 150, you need to ever see this part of the
Hey, we got it. Come on. I need a wound. I need it. Got it. Where's the other guy? He's out.
Looks like there's an AED right here and some more medical stuff. You know, stuff within a home can be moved out of the way. If you need to make room, make room. Take this table, take a table, and just shove it the fuck out of the way. Push it up against the corner of the wall, whatever. Make space for you. Looks like they got hardwood floors. Me, personally, it fucking hurts for me to be on my knees for any long period of time. So, inside a house, damn right, I'm probably going to either grab a damn seat cushion or ask someone else, hey, hand me that cushion off that couch and use that as a knee pad. I don't know. It's just my knees. I can't be on my knees on a hard surface for very long. It's probably why I haven't been promoted a whole lot of times in my life. But yeah, use the environment to your advantage, and if you need to alter it, alter it. Push shit out of the way.
He's outside the front. What's this guy's name? Who, this guy? Yeah. Hey, no clue. You want the 17's name? Oh, come on, man. Hey,
one Nick's working on.
We're gonna get all that information in a minute, all right? He's still outside. I gotta make sure the scene is secure. Stay with me.
I got. You're really advanced.
Hey, you gonna make it over?
So, you know, at this point, you know, the music in the background playing, that's just a distraction. You can very easily just go up to it and unplug it from the wall. Sometimes, you know, if you see one remote out, you can grab it, hit the little power button on there. If that doesn't work, I wouldn't waste time trying to find the remote. Just go up there, hit the button on the TV itself if you need to. If the power cord is exposed coming out of the wall, just unplug the damn thing. There's no need to have all that extra noise inside the house distracting people. So, looking at this door frame right here, we can see this trim right here, right? It has fallen down, and this is where the trim had been up on the wall. And you can see some tooling marks right here on the strike plate right here. So it kind of almost makes me wonder if the grandson had done this, you know, forcing the door open or, you know, kicking it, something, whatever, and causing this damage to occur.
Where's fire? They're here.
Alright, and this is pretty much the end of the video. Ambulance gets there, and then they obviously are going to be taken over. Yeah, not much else to say about this video. It sucks that the grandfather died. I mean, that's who I see as the real victim in this. The grandson, I'm not, at this point, I'm not even considering him a victim. You know, could this have been suicide by police kind of deal? Potentially, yeah. But why the fuck did he have to stab his own grandfather? Why didn't he just run towards that officer with his knife to complete his own little self-murder desire? Like, what did the grandfather do to him that was so egregious that he had to stab him in the neck repeatedly? And after being shot himself. Like, what was so motivating about that? The grandfather tell him he needs to get his life together? He needed to go get a job? The grandfather give him some fucking reality? Did mommy baby his ass all the time? Did grandma baby his ass all the time? Was grandfather the voice of reason, the voice of logic in that house? And the grandson, who's been babied his entire time, just couldn't handle it? Probably. But I don't know that for sure. I mean, these don't look like bad people. I mean, they got their house looks nice. It's not fucking dirty. It's well kept. I mean, this ain't, I don't see this as being like a fucked up family affair kind of deal. The only fucked up person is going to be the grandson, obviously. What made him so fucked up, I don't know. But I think it's bullshit that he did what he did. If he is suicidal, I've got the sympathy for that, man. When you really think about someone who's suicidal, it's not something they just all of a sudden thought about. It's been in their head for a minute. They've been thinking about it for some period of time. It may be days, weeks, months, some people years they think about it off and on. And so when you think about that, their mindset, where they're at mentally is a depressing state. They are living in a constant mental torture, mental anguish. To go through that for weeks, months, maybe even close to a year or more, being in those doldrums, that's a dark fucking place to be. Very mentally taxing. Just suffering mentally through all that. I got sympathy for that. I do. Empathy for that. It's not a good place to be. But my feelings for sympathy towards a person ends when they try to force another person's hands to do the job for them. Like when they run towards an officer with a knife. That's where it ends at. That's where I say, you're a fucking asshole for doing that. And in this case, yeah, he might have been suicidal, but man, fuck this guy. He's an asshole. He stabbed his grandfather in the neck. He killed his grandfather. He did. The officers may have accidentally shot him during this struggle, but none of that shit would have happened if old dude didn't fucking lunge at him with a knife. So the grandson is the killer in this incident. He's the asshole. Not much else to say. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.